Hi everyone, how are you doing tonight? Welcome to Bite-Sized Tips for Busy Entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Mary Fainbrandt. I'm super excited to have you here tonight, and we're going to be dropping some knowledge bombs. I've got special guest Sara Clark-Williams from Fab Fempreneurs. I love that name, and I love her branding. If you haven't checked her out yet, you definitely need to go check out her website, her LinkedIn, her Facebook, all of that. Her branding is spot on. If you know someone who could benefit from the tips that we're going to be sharing about productivity and reaching your goals in 2019, go ahead right now and hit that share button. Yeah, that one right there. Go ahead and share this out and share this with your network. And let me know where you're watching from, because I have created a global network, which I love and I'm so proud of, and I really like to know where my viewers are watching from. And for all you replayers, go ahead and type in hashtag replay and let me know. And I promise to go back on and engage with you and answer any questions that you have. We want this to be an interactive program, so if you have questions for Sara or myself, just go ahead and drop those in the comments and we'll get to you. So in this episode, Sara is going to share 3 key tips. One is align your actions with the results you want. Now, I love that one personally because this year I have some new goals that I want to meet. And I was telling Sara earlier, you can't get new results with the same actions that you were taking, right? So I can't wait to hear what tips she has for us to do that. Number 2 is going to be accountable to maintain habits that align with those results. Ooh, that sounds hot too. And the third one is to embrace the habits. Do you see the I see habits here. Embrace the habits of delegation and self-care to stay the course in your goals and to enjoy life, which I think as entrepreneurs, sometimes we kind of get off track. Well, before we dive into the show, you guys, I always like to let you know where I know my guests from. I don't just pick them up off the street. Sara and I know each other from HeraHub. We've both been members there. I've seen Sara speak, and she's a fabulous entrepreneur, and she supports women entrepreneurs and business owners, and I'm super excited to have you here with me, Sara. Say hello to everyone.
Hi, Mary, and thank you so much for having me on the show. Hey, everybody, I'm excited to share these tips with you today.
So, Sara, before we dive into the tips, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started? I'm always interested in the backstory, like the nitty-gritty.
Sure. Okay. So I have been an entrepreneur for 11 years now.
Yay!
Yay, right?
Right, you were over the hump.
I stuck with it 11 years now. So I started my first business back in beginning of 2008. And my first business out of my corporate job was focused on personal development and life coaching. And so my corporate background is in organizational development. So I was doing a lot of training and coaching with management and individual employees, and in that job, as well as supporting with systems and processes and things like that. So I had quite the experience there. I loved a lot of aspects of it, but being in a corporate environment just isn't for me, and that became very obvious to myself, and I just started really longing for something that would be more fulfilling. And so I really took a step back and looked at what that would be, and that led me to start my first business in 2008, so February of 2008. And then over the course of a few years of working with amazing women to really get clear on what they wanted in their life, their career, and things like that, I realized that a lot of my followers and clients were women entrepreneurs. And they started asking me, hey, Sara, this is, this focus talk and the goal setting talk and, time management talk and things like that are great, but now I want to dig deeper into how to grow my business and business strategies. So I said, okay. And that led me to start Fab Fempreneurs. So I started Fab Fempreneurs in November of 2012. And I haven't looked back. It's been an amazing journey. And because I learned so much, the mistakes and ups and downs in that first business, I was able to really kind of hit the ground pretty quickly with Fab Fempreneurs in 2012, 2013, and develop my structured programs and services, as well as really useful tools, all with the vision of simplifying the process of growing your business. I looked around and realized that women entrepreneurs especially, regardless of how many years they have been in business or what industry that they're in, sometimes, let's face it, growing your business can feel overwhelming and it can be frustrating, right? So I wanted to really support women entrepreneurs everywhere to feel that growing their business doesn't have to feel overwhelming or complicated. And so that's what I set out to do with Fab Fempreneurs. And I call that, when you're in that place where you're kind of in that groove and, you're getting the results to match your effort, I call that your sweet spot.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, as women entrepreneurs, we're working so hard at serving our clients. And a lot of times we're wearing 17 hats. We have a hard time of letting go of things and outsourcing, which I'm learning how to do, because that's the only way I see that I can scale my business, is to let go of what I can, but you have to be ready to let go of that. And you have to have structure and processes. So we have something else in common, the organizational development. Like, my degree's OL, organizational leadership, and a certificate in organizational development from Chapman.
Love it. Love it. Yes. Yeah. And I usually go, I have my master's in IO Psych, because, you get the lingo, used to the lingo, and I realize, not everybody knows what that stands for. But, industrial organizational, but it's a mouthful. And people don't often know what that is, but that really prepares you for the business world and to create whatever change that you want.
Right.
So I'm excited to jump into the first tip.
I love that. Yeah. So our first tip is, what did we talk about? How to align your actions with the results that you want. So I'm really interested on how you're going to share with us the tips of how to do that, because we all know we need to, right?
Yeah. I will first start off by saying, something you and I were talking about a little bit ago, is it's hard to believe that it's already towards the end of February, and it's easy to feel at this point already like, oh my gosh, what should I be focusing on? Like, I'm behind on where I want to be towards my goals. You might feel that way. Those of you who are with us, others of you might feel like you're on track. That's great. It's easy though to expect a lot, even at this point in the year. And while you want to be making progress, you might be looking around going, okay, what's working? What's not working? Why am I maybe not where I want to be towards my goals?
So I just want to ask our audience real quick, is anyone out there, do you feel that you're already off track? You've already missed the mark of hitting your goals for 2019. It's towards the end of February. I mean, we're week 3. Does anyone out there feel like, man, I missed the mark. I can't make my goals for 2019? If you can just say me or help, something in the comments to let us know, because we're here to support you, right?
Yeah, and even feeling off track so far with where they thought they would be at this point in the year. A lot of times people it's easy to look and say, okay, here's this goal for the year. I still have, 10 more months. I'm good. And then before you know it, it's already November or October and we're freaking out. And so there's that piece too, right? Sometimes that can happen. I know for those of us who are really working to grow our business and really scale, it's, we have big goals. We have multiple things that we're working on. So I've talked to some of my clients and members, and they've shared saying, wow, I've hit some ups and downs already, just being however many weeks into the year it is.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know if you want to touch base on any comments that people are already saying. Otherwise, I'll keep going.
Yeah, some people are saying, even though it's only February, they feel off track. And how do you motivate yourself and get yourself back on track?
Yeah. Okay, great question. So I'm glad that I'm not the only one that's feeling a little like, I need to get back on track. I want to make sure that I'm going to be hitting my goals for the year. So first and foremost, one of the reasons why you might be feeling that way is because you're not aligning your actions with the results that you want. So that's what I really want to hone in on. That's the reason why that's tip number one, to really blaze your way to reach your goals this year, is you want to make sure that what you're actually doing, so the action steps that you're taking, what you're spending your time on every week, every day, is actually connecting you with the results that you want and, your goals, right?
So it's all about the action. So let's just put it out there. Who sits on Facebook too much? Right? I mean, here, you've got your phone, you've got your iPad, your laptop. I'm always checking Facebook, and I realize, why I need to check Facebook somewhat. I don't need to be on it as much. So I think that when we're taking a look at the actions, are we doing the actions that are going to help us reach our goals, to finish the task at hand? Like just today, I realized I was on Facebook, and I'm like, I have a presentation tomorrow at UCSD. I've worked on it, but I should, instead of being on Facebook, I should look at that presentation one more time, make sure there's no typos, make sure that the slides are all in the right order. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Guilty right here. This woman right here is guilty of not always doing the actions. And sometimes they're daily actions, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the questions that I like to ask myself, that I think everybody should be asking themselves, is what can I do this week? What is going to be my goal for this week, goals for the week, or steps this week, to help me get closer to that goal, or those 3 goals, whatever those goals are. So you might be somebody who likes to keep your annual goals in mind, or you might be working towards quarterly goals. Some of us like to break it down further to month and that sort of thing. But to keep it simple, because it can be really simple, looking at, hey, what are the top 3 goals that you really, really, really want to be making visible progress on in the next couple of months, next quarter, for example. Even starting there will help you to say, okay, well, this week, what are a few action steps that I want to take to specifically move me closer to one or more of those goals? And if we're prioritizing those over the other shiny objects, then we're going to see visible progress week after week after week, if you're making that part of your habit. Okay.
Habit.
So
there's that word, habit. Good habits.
Yeah, exactly. And I also want to highlight, even before you're able to even ask yourself that question, you have to be clear on what you're working toward. So what I mean by that is, what is your direction? What is your intentional direction for your business this year? I am very much a strong believer in having a vision for your business. So not just a vision statement in the sense of, a 2-sentence thing that you put up on a wall or in a formal business plan. I mean, really having an elaborative picture of what you're doing in and through your business, right? So the exciting stuff, what is it that you want to see happen? I
have the big vision. It's a 2-year vision of buying a house in Lake Havasu. I've been talking about it live now. It's that's a big vision. And my goal with my company is to make that down payment.
Indeed. Exactly.
So that financial plan, and okay, every month, what do I need to do? Besides, the social media posts and going to events or networking, what are 3 steps that I need to do every month to reach those goals?
Right. So in order to be able to align your action steps with what you want, you have to be clear on what you want.
Yeah, and I think it helps to know what you want. It might be a vacation. You might be working towards your first family vacation. I know Stephanie Novinskis, her and her family, they just went to Italy last year. My husband and I, we're planning our first trip to Ireland next year. We're so excited. We're going with friends. So that's a big goal. But you know what? Once we own that, we have a separate savings account for it, and we just put money in there. And I'm like, how did we not do this before? And I think because we just said we're going to go one day.
Yes.
But when you have a goal with a date.
Exactly. So you want to make sure that you're spending time, setting aside that time and space for you to get clear on what is it that you want for your business and your life. So, what's in a year from now, if you're happy with your progress, what's true about your business, how it's running, how you're feeling about your personal life. What is your business enabling you to do personally, which is what you were just hitting on pretty strongly with those vacays, which I'm all about, travel.
So excited. 2 weeks in Ireland and Scotland.
Exactly.
I've never gone to Europe, so that's like a really big goal for us and to go with our friends. And we actually here's what I've learned from me. When I set that goal, I get real specific. I've got a folder made, right? Yep. We have a bank account for it. We're having our first planning party for it next month of where we're going to go. What does it look like? I'm just going to chunk it out.
Yes, absolutely. So, and having a clear vision is what enables you to set really specific goals. And then you can align what you're actually doing each week and day with those goals, right? So, I think one of the things that I see with a lot of amazing entrepreneurs, especially those who tend to be really passionate about what they're doing, they might have some really great clients, they might have a really great network, but they struggle with feeling frustrated they're not getting the results that they want. And so a common scenario that I see is that they're not clear on their direction, but yet they're trying to manage their time well, and they're trying to work on their habits. And I'll tell you this, you can work on your time management till the cows come home, so to speak, and you may not ever see the results that you want if you're not tying those habits directly with the direction that you want to go in your business. And so making sure that that gap is closed is really key. And something that I want to share with your audience is my Fab 4 formula, and that's one of the tools I was mentioning earlier that I developed. It's a visual formula. They can go on my website and check it out whenever they want. It shows the visual formula of the 4 areas that we all need to be keeping in mind to keep hitting that sweet spot. And so those 4 areas are head, heart, habits, and hub. And so we're hitting on all 4 so far.
Head, heart, habits, and hub?
Hub, yeah.
What's hub stand for?
Yeah, so hub are the people and places that you surround yourself with. So that's, the people that we choose to do business with. Our community. Are we working with our ideal clients? Oh. Right?
First, people need to know who their ideal client is. That's a whole other conversation, and that's like a workshop, because if you're not clear on who your ideal client is, you're probably spinning your wheels and trying to because when you start off as an entrepreneur, you're like, I'll work with anyone, I need the money. But once you niche and you understand who your ideal client is, then your marketing is written for them, your speech is written for them, your package is written for that ideal client, and then they start coming to you. Right? Exactly.
And it's okay to date different target audiences or niches in the beginning.
I like that word, date.
Yeah, because you're not marrying them. You're when you're first starting up, if you're new in your business, you might have some direction, but also you're doing a lot of research while you're trying out your services and your tools and your processes. So it's a great opportunity to date different niches or target audiences. But definitely, that's something at the end I'll share with your audience as well. So tip number 2.
Okay.
Tip number 2 is be accountable to maintain habits that align with the results that we're just talking about above. So first of all, you've got to get clear on what you want. What are the results that you want? What do you want to accomplish, contribute, and experience in and through your business? And so once you're clear on those things, then you want to make sure that you are being accountable for the habits that are going to align with those results. So we just talked about aligning the action steps. Those are the specific action steps that you decided that are going to help you reach your goal. The specific steps that'll reach a specific goal. Whereas the habits are more general things, general habits for success, right? And so our habits can help or hinder us. And obviously, as
Oh, yes.
people who are striving to scale our business, reach more people, make more money, have a bigger impact, we want to ensure that the things that we're doing we're not getting in our own way.
Got it.
So how can we be accountable to maintain those habits, to ensure that we are not hindering ourselves? There's three areas that I like to look at. That's to be accountable through people, through others, through processes, and through tools. So I like to think it's not just people. So a lot of people immediately go to, who can hold me accountable?
I like
right?
the tools and processes. I'm thinking some of the processes that I have in place, like for the Facebook Live show, I have that Google form that is helping us get the information we need from our guests and in a speedy way.
Right, exactly. So you're folding in the habits that you know that are going to support you to have a successful show.
Right.
And exactly. So that's a great example. And so it's really about looking at what are some things that I can put in place to support me in being successful in this. What are the things that are going to support me with holding myself accountable to remember to do something as well, right?
Yeah.
So that could be those little reminders that are in your Google Calendar. It could be if you have a robust CRM, you might have those notifications that pop up. So it's building an accountability to stay on track with the processes that you've set up to reach your goals and to run a successful business. So I would say the other thing that I think is really super powerful, I'd call this, like kind of a cornerstone habit.
Okay.
And that is to ensure that you are engaging in self-leadership habits on a regular basis. And what do I mean by that? That is weekly planning. So my followers probably get sick of me saying this because they hear me say it so often. But then I go, are you doing it? And they're going, no. So weekly planning. If you are planning what you're going to be focusing on each week, you're getting clear on what are those top priorities for the week that are going to really move me forward. And getting clear on what are the other things that you have to do too, of course, that you need to make sure to take care of. That is a great way to hold yourself accountable to not only making progress on your goals, but that is a habit that you can.
That is a huge habit of mine. I love planning. So I use Google Calendar. If it doesn't live on the Google Calendar, it's not going to happen. And I mean everything personal and business, because let's be real, they're like this, right?
Yep.
They're married, so I could not keep two different calendars. I like Google Calendar because all my consulting work is in one color.
Yes.
So when I see that, I'm like, that's a client call, that's a consultation, that's a consulting task versus my personal task. So I do use the Google Calendar, and then every Sunday I like to look at my week. What's going on? Where have I double booked myself? What do I need to prep for? Am I ready for that client call? Did I set up the Zoom meeting for them? That's something that I'm trying to get better at, like just set it up right when it's booked. That's better.
Yes. And you just gave some great examples that all those that are with us now or watching the replay should be, great examples of questions that you could be asking yourself in that weekly planning power hour. It may not take a full hour. It might take 30 minutes. When you get really used to it, it might start taking much less time than that. I know for myself, it just takes about 10 minutes now. But when I first started, it was taking 30 minutes. Depends on what you do during that time. So definitely weekly planning and leveraging any tools that you have to support that self-accountability. The other aspect of that is daily task prioritization. So you can have that weekly planning and it's all great, and then you go to your desk in the morning or wherever you work and you're like, what do I focus on? What am I doing today? What is the most important thing? And a lot of times people will start just with the easiest thing, and that might work for some people to get a quick win. I get that psychologically.
Yeah, that's me. I like to do the quick win because I'm the person who makes the list, and I like to cross things off, but I know that that's not a good strategy.
Well, it could be if that helps you. So that's where I'm very flexible. It's about what works for you. So the way that you can hold yourself accountable is through prioritizing your tasks so that you're clear on what are the top things. I would say, what are your top 3 to 5s,
okay.
Right? And we're talking business right now. You might have a separate list for personal, but business wise, you want to have your top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or if you're a Franklin Covey fan like me, 3 years back in the day, you do your A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, etc. I still use that, and that helps to really hold yourself accountable by implementing that approach to really making sure that you're aligning yourself with the results that you want. And then the other thing is people, right? So that's the obvious place. So I did want to start with that first, but I definitely want to touch on that we want to be accountable through others as well. So leverage our relationships, whether that's with our business coach, with our peer accountability buddy, whatever you call your accountability partner, or a mastermind group. I think a layered approach is the most powerful. So to have more than one in place would be great. There's something really powerful. I had one of my clients who's also in my mastermind group right now share with me that she's a go-getter. She has big goals. And she shared with me that being in the mastermind group has completely shifted in her mind or her mindset about what's possible and what she should really be focusing her attention on, and that the group members have supported her to stay focused on that and called her out when she's starting to get...
That's important, because it's one thing to have like your colleagues, business colleagues that are like, good job, like, yeah, that looks great. But I've been in a mastermind group before, and it was pretty good. And I actually got a client, a referral, and it was like my first big client, right? So that was like lifting and elevating for me. But I feel like mastermind groups, if you're in the right mastermind group, and I think that's probably different for everyone, depending on what stage of business you're in. But we've got Amy and Stephanie on, and ladies, I know you both have been parts of mastermind groups and probably are still in a mastermind group. And I think next year that's something that I want to do, is join a mastermind group to be more accountable and scale my business.
Yeah. And it's, the accountability looks different at different stages of your business, as you just mentioned, and maybe when you're earlier on in your business, you need accountability just to do what you say you're going to do, that sort of accountability. Whereas when you're really scaling, the accountability shifts a little bit more from just basic accountability to supporting you and holding you accountable to like make decisions that are aligned with the vision that you've shared with your...
It's more
your
of
group.
a strategic, I feel like it's a strategic partnership or strategic accountability.
Yes.
That's that next level.
Exactly. So there's those different layers of accountability that are in there. So regardless of where people are at, I think it's just really important to get started with folding in these layers and types of accountability.
I love it. And accountability, I mean, I'm going to share real quick. Let's just all go to the gym thing. Everyone's always, I'm going to work out, I'm going to eat healthy. Like, we are always in that cycle, I feel like. But you know what? Having an accountability partner, it works when you're going to the gym, or if you're like, hey, I'm going to be eating healthy. If you're at a 9 to 5, you tell a coworker. If it's at home, you tell your husband, look, I'm not going to eat that, and I'm going to go for a walk every night. Whatever it is, whatever level that you're at, think of the accountability partner on that personal level. And when you've used that accountability partner to get healthy or to go to the gym, the same thing for your business. You're just transferring it over from your personal life to your business life. I need a partner, an accountability partner, and there's a lot of ways to do that.
Absolutely. And so from a psychology perspective, so I have 2 psychology degrees. So I'll speak from a psychology perspective that one of the things that's powerful about what you just shared, Mary, is and what's at work on the underlying technique at work is when you make a public commitment
Yes.
to something, that kind of lights the fire underneath our butt. And so that's where that kind of kicks it into the next gear. And so there's something really powerful about that. So even something as simple as posting on Facebook or LinkedIn that, hey, here's my goal for this next quarter. I'm really excited about this.
I do that a lot because I know it works for me. And there's somebody on social media, and I'm not going to mention their name, but they did a whole post about, don't tell me what you're going to do, show me what you're going to do. And I get it. And I think it was more of a personal thing. I think he had said over and over he was going to do this, he was going to do this, and didn't do it. And I know for me, I'm like, hey, so this year I'm going to do this. I'm going to be strategic in my business. I'm going to get healthy. I'm going to do that. And for me personally, it has worked for me in the past. I used to run and do marathons and triathlons. And my very first triathlon, I told everyone, I'm doing my first triathlon. And everyone's like, yay, we're gonna make signs. We're gonna come see you. And I hurt myself.
Oh, shoot.
I hurt my knee. I've had knee issues. And it was pretty bad. I hurt myself. They sent me to the team doc at the school and everything. And they're like, yeah, you probably shouldn't run. I'm like, oh, no. I told everyone I'm running this. I'm doing a triathlon. I go, what can we do? He's like, well, you're just going to have to roll it, stretch it. And you're going to be in some pain. I'm like, okay, fine. Because I publicly declared I was doing this triathlon. Everyone was behind me. And I did it. And the same thing happened for the Hollywood Half Marathon. It was the first one, the inaugural one. And I had hurt my knee again. And I was like, I broke my toe. And my doctor was like, no, you can't run. I'm like, well, it's not for like 8 weeks. I'll be fine. She's like, I can't advise that. I'm like, I've already told everybody I'm running. So I couldn't run the half marathon. I had to do the 10K. But again, it's doing that public. You don't want to, life happens. We don't always reach our goals, right?
Right.
I couldn't run the half marathon because my toe was still recovering. So I did the 10K. But I felt good about that. But life happens and we have to be okay when we don't meet our goals. But I think that when we acknowledge our goals publicly, it gives them life.
It does. And it also helps you to really connect with your audience and share why this particular goal matters to you and why you're excited about it.
Absolutely. I love it.
Right?
Oh, Deanna just joined us. Hey, Deanna, Fit Chicks Unite is what she said. Deanna
I love it. I love it. Hey, Deanna. So, yeah, I think that it would be cool for anybody who's listening now or with you now and with us now or the replay to pop in one of the goals that they want to put out there. That would be something to do in the comments.
You guys, what's one goal? It can be small, big, in between. It can be personal or it can be business. It could be for this week. It could be for this month or this quarter. I would love to know what one of your goals is so I can help support you. So we've got Stephanie, Amy, Deanna on. Hi, guys. If you want to share a goal, I don't care what size it is, but just share it here so we can support you.
Awesome. So hopefully you guys are thinking of something that you want to share, put out there that you really want to get people behind you on.
Drop it in the comments.
Drop it like it's hot.
Drop it like it's hot. Stephanie Lou, that's for you, because my girl's always dancing and she's always got music on her Facebook live shows. So big shout out to Stephanie Lou. She's my Facebook Live muse. I took her course and she helped me launch my show. So thank you very much.
Awesome.
And drop it like it's hot. Drop your goals in the comments so we can support you. Claim them. Be victorious.
Claim them. Yes, declare it. I'm a big believer in declaring exactly what you want on paper and out loud and then with others. That's very, very powerful. I want to talk about the third tip. So the third tip is to embrace the habits of delegation and self-care to stay the course to your goals and to enjoy your life, because we didn't just go through this whole process of starting our businesses to be completely exhausted or completely consumed by our business. There's going to be seasons where it's busier than other times. At the same time, a big value that I know I have that a lot of other entrepreneurs have is freedom. We want to have that freedom of how we spend our time, who we work with, the work that we do, how much money we charge, how many hours we work, what days of the week we work, right?
I mean, we didn't start the business to work 80 friggin' hours a week. I don't know about you guys, but when I see entrepreneurs and they're posting like, oh my God, I just pulled an all-nighter, or I just worked 7 days, or I haven't had a vacation in 2 years, I'm like, I don't get it. Like, why be an entrepreneur? Like, for me personally, that is not why I started my business. I don't want to work 80 hours a week. And Amy Aram, she's got it down. She's my Facebook manager. She's got a system down she's worked on. We've been working together a year now, and I know she's got her system down because, Amy, I want to ask you, how many hours a week are you working? Because she's like weeded it out where, man, she's doing what you're saying. She's also delegating and hired somebody.
Yeah. Hey, Amy. I know Amy from Hair Hub.
Yeah, you know Amy.
Yeah. And hey, Stephanie. We met through a challenge, I think, through Hair Hub a while back last year. These are awesome ladies that are on with us. So, kind of bubbling up to reminding everybody what we're talking about, it's, how are we going to blaze the path to reach our goals? How are we going to really blow it out of the water this year and really achieve those things that we really want to achieve this year? And so far we've talked about aligning your actions with the results that you want. So getting really clear on, what does that look like? And then being accountable to maintain the habits that will support you to get those results. And then this final tip is, in order to do that, in order to scale, you're going to hit capacity if you're trying to do it all yourself, right? So, I mean, once some of you who are with us right now, I mean, and you, Mary, you've seen your goals probably grow over the years. And so as we're working towards these big goals that are exciting, that are going to allow us to reach more people, make a bigger impact, make more money, and maybe even have more free time.
Free time! Woo, there's a happy dance.
The, two aspects that are super important that I have seen for myself be critical are those two things, delegation and self-care. And because we want to stay the course, right? We don't want to putter out already. Like, we don't want to already be like, oh my gosh, I'm done.
We have to take care of ourselves, because if we don't take care of ourselves, we can't have our business. And Deanna, we all know Deanna, fitness and mindset. She knows, and I just saw her post this morning about running or something, and I was like, oh, I can't run anymore because of my knee, but there's other things, but drinking our water and being healthy and taking a day off. I firm believer that as entrepreneurs, we should not be working 7 days a week.
I agree. I mean, again, there's going to be seasons that we might need to be a little bit more intensive. I truly have seen that in my own journey, because it's like this.
And like when you have your big event, right? That's a busy time for you, and you're working, I'm sure that you're working a few more hours when your big events are coming up.
Yeah. And so, yes, and that's a great example. So with Fab Fempreneur Fest, it's definitely, with a 2-day event, there's a lot that goes into that. Even with great planning, making sure that things are taken care of is really important. Taking care of yourself is part of that process. So I'm happy to say that I'm doing my best to walk the talk with that, and not working 7 days a week ever, but because I know that I wouldn't be able to serve well if I was doing that. And I probably wouldn't be able to think clearly or speak clearly if I was doing that. Especially, when you, like you and I, a lot of us are coaches or consultants of some sort. And even though we're guiding people and asking a lot of questions, when we shift into more of the consulting role and guidance, we're talking a lot. So, and pouring out a lot. So it's important that we're managing our energy.
It takes a lot of energy. I told my husband, even after the Facebook Live show, right? I'm like, it's a lot of energy. Because people are like, oh, you're just on Facebook, blah, blah. I'm like, there's a lot of prep before, right? Then there's being on for an hour, and then there's the work done afterwards. I'm like, yeah, it's all great. The lights are here, lights, camera, live, Stephanie, but it's all the energy. So I know that I have to have a little downtime. There's nothing else planned on the nights of my Facebook Live show, because it would just drain me.
Good for you. And I think, one of the things that I've observed in the last couple of years, as I've shifted into bigger goals and what I call my upgrade phase, upgrade process, is that it takes more energy, and managing my energy becomes even more important. And so I work with my clients on that as well, to make sure that you're managing your energy in the way that you want to, because it's not just about time management, right? There's a certain schedule element that's important, and also equally important is the energy management required for kicking, you know what, and reaching your goals. And so specifically, we need help at with growing our business when we're scaling. So that delegation piece, looking to people, subject matter experts that are going to help us in those areas that we're just not great at, right? Or that even if we're good at it, doesn't mean we should be doing it. Maybe we need to delegate something that we know how to do well, but that's not where we're making our biggest impact. It's not where we should
be, spending our time. And I think that a lot of entrepreneurs, this is where they get stuck. Here's what I hear. I can't afford to hire someone. I don't have enough time. And so I just talked to somebody. Who was it? Amy, do you remember who it was? We just had our GSD day, Get Stuff Done Day. So I've hosted 4 of these now, and it's just a few women get together and we work in our business because we don't have time to usually. But somebody was talking about they needed a VA. It was Alicia. And she's like, but I can't afford it. I'm like, get one for 2 hours a week.
Exactly.
Start there. Start with, I have a VA for 2 hours a week doing my email. Just something simple. And we talked about what that process is like. So I want to encourage anyone, if you're looking to scale and you don't have time to take on more clients, start looking at what you can delegate and who to delegate that to, and get a VA. Start with 2 hours a week. That's going to be 8 hours more a month.
Exactly. I have my VA for 10 hours a month, and that's great because I have a couple other people doing other things for me that she doesn't have to do, like a social media manager. So I love it. It's amazing. I will say I'm in the process of ramping up with a new VA. And so I think, let's have a real talk about, when you're looking to scale, and you're needing to delegate, you're kind of already have a full plate, right. So that's already a lot. The reality of what it really takes to scale or upgrade is that there's going to be this transition period where it's going to be a little bit more effort, time, energy required because of that learning curve when you're training team members, right?
Absolutely. But it's so worth it.
It is so worth it. Just making sure that I like to prepare people to have that expectation of, I'm going to go through the steps that it takes to train this person properly so that they can hit the ground running sooner, and, we can be more synergized together faster.
Yeah. So one of the things, because I've been really trying to learn about how to hire and delegate and all that. And one of the things that you should do, everyone that's watching, if you're thinking like you're getting to that point, let me back up. Even if you're not at that point, do it now so that you're ready, because I didn't do it. And that is to do your SOPs, standard operating procedure. So whatever you do, whether it's email marketing, how many times a month do you send out an email? What do you send out an email for? Just write it up in a Google Doc. Start it now so that when you're getting close, you'll be like, oh, what are 3 things I can take off my plate? Social media management, email marketing, booking speakers, whatever it is. But start your SOP, standard operating procedures, now, so that it's easier to get those things off your plate.
Exactly. And one of the things that I've done with my past team members and my current team members is I have them type up their own process documents.
Ooh, I like that.
Yes.
That's so even better. Have them do it.
Yes. So they're already doing it. So like some of the people that I started, that I brought onto my team in the last couple of years, I had like kind of a skeleton sort of outline of what they would be focused on. And so through our experience working together, then we got more specific. And so they're going through all these steps to do all this work. And I said, hey, can you document all of this as part of, and charge me those hours, but document it and keep it up to date and store it in our folder and Google Docs. And it really saves time, and then it really reinforces what you were saying, Mary, about having standard operating procedures and processes.
I love that.
So that it's not, you're not starting from scratch every time somebody gives their notice and you need to find a DBA or whatever.
Hey, so I'm going to jump over to comments. So Deanna said, this quarter, my intention is to book my Internalize Your Goals keynote presentation to a minimum of 6 corporate clients. I love that she said what it is and how many and a due date. So that's like
love it.
Specific goals. Deanna, high fives. And then she said, I use the one amazing habit strategy to make it all streamlined. Oh, and then she said, you ladies are both doing our community so much good. Thank you for sharing. So Deanna, I love your goal. Deanna, I love you as a female business owner, as a friend and a colleague. And I love that you just shared your goals with us, and a very specific goal. I love it. That's how to, like, if you're going to set a goal, I always tell people when I do Monday Motivation, we talk about goals, and one of the things was, well, set your goal, but you need to be specific. So you don't just say, oh, I want to lose weight. You say, how much weight do you want to lose? When do you want to lose it by? And what action steps are you going to take? So it's usually, well, I'm going to go to the gym. Okay, great. But how many times and for how long?
Right.
And what are you going to eat? So when you're setting goals, everybody, you need to be specific. You need to give your goals some life and give them deadlines and 3 tasks that you need to do to achieve that goal, right?
Absolutely. I like to encourage people that maybe are not avid goal setters, or maybe that haven't done a lot of goal setting or don't like it, to be clear that they don't have to know every step to reach the goal. But if they could just identify like 3 steps to get them going towards that goal, that's a great start.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love it.
So how do you do self-care for yourself? I'd love to know.
Yeah. So self-care is important for all of us all the time. And going back to, what I mentioned a little bit ago, in the last couple of years, as I've gone through this, what I call upgrade process, and really have expanded my vision, and the goals that have come out of that vision are bigger as a result, I have found that I have had to take care of myself better in order to make it happen, in order to even with assistance from others. And so some of the ways that I have found to be helpful with taking care of myself to blaze my path forward to my goals have been having 2 days off a month that are specifically, so I call them my Freedom Fridays. So the first and third Fridays of every month are my Freedom Fridays. I love Fridays off. So
I love it.
Thank you. And so that is one way that I'm integrating more of one of my core values of freedom, while also taking care of myself. So that's just one way, but also very powerful. So there's those 2-3 day weekends. And then I also, at the end of every year, when I'm looking at the next year, I block off my vacation time, even if it's going to be a staycay. We're in San Diego. It's a beautiful place to do a staycay. So I block off my like 3 to 4 times that I'm going to take off, whether it's a full week or 2 weeks. And I honor that. I protect that. And I make sure that I set my
smart.
Yeah, I set my launches, my marketing, my speaking up so that it doesn't make taking that time off stressful, right? There's something, that's happened to me before, where I had a deadline right before my week off, and it literally took 5 days to decompress, and then there was 3 days before I was going back to work. So
so I have a launch coming up, and I'm shifting it. I was talking to a marketing person. I was like, well, I'm going to Hawaii. I'm like, so I can't do my webinar right before I go, because then, so she's like, don't plan your launch until after you're back. She goes, otherwise you're going to be totally stressed out, and it's like a true vacation in Hawaii. Like, I'm going to take my laptop because I'm going to work on the plane, but after that, Like, I'm going to be in flip-flops, you guys, on the beach and snorkeling and swimming with some dolphins and some
Love it.
turtles and like just it's going to be like a true like 10-day vacation for the hubby and I.
And that's going to be awesome personally, and it's also going to make you better when you come back for your business and your clients, you know? And I find that when we're shutting our brain off, like, you know, shutting our business brain off and allowing ourselves to play and be in that space, that's often when ideas come.
That's what everyone says, is that's when the creative juices flow, and I'll be like, wow, I'm going to come back with so many ideas.
So maybe you want to have like a quick, you know, spot where you can do a brain dump if they come up, and then you can leave it there and get back to wherever.
That's a great tip. Thank you.
Yeah, because I don't, you know, I don't want, you know, as your friend and professional colleague, I don't want you to feel guilty for having a business idea that's brilliant.
Right.
You know, capture it and then like, okay, it's there. I don't have to think about it now because I captured it.
And you're right. You know, I'm the type of person, so if I write it down somewhere, then I can let it go. If I don't write it down, I have that brain where it just circles and it just keeps going, and it'll keep me up at night and I'll be distracted with it. So I'm going to take just a little journal where I can just like journal ideas.
Great idea. And that really is related to self-care as well, to help you honor those parts of who you are in your life, and also those hats, and also the boundaries, right?
Yeah.
So another self-care habit that I have is having a beginning and end of day routine. Okay. So that I'm really getting myself ready for my day in a way that feels really good. You know, not just getting clear on what are my tasks for the day, but also doing my spiritual time in the morning, making sure I'm having a healthy breakfast, you know, drinking some water, getting my coffee in, you know, taking my supplements or my, making sure, you know, unfortunately I have an inhaler that I have to use. So making sure I remember to do that before I go on live or before, you know, I do, because I get out of breath really easily because of those things. So it's like, you know, taking care, doing what we have to do to make sure that we're carving out that time to support ourselves. So those are some simple things, but really powerful.
Yeah, so Deanna says, all my best ideas come when I'm running in the morning. Oh, man. Running once a habit, a hypnotic state. Your subconscious is fully alert and creative space is flowing. Yeah, so I can totally relate to that. When I used to run, like, it's just like, they say there's that runner's high, which is so true, and I miss that runner's high, but like, you can just, I talk to myself when I'm running, when I used to run, and I'd have all kinds of ideas. I'd practice conversations.
Yeah, and I would say, you know, if you're able to create moments like that for yourself, whether it's running or another physical activity, or even just sitting in your backyard or patio, staring off into space, thinking of nothing for 10 minutes, and allowing yourself to float, that's when, you know, you can kind of, you know, you go into that daydream. You know, as kids, we probably used to allow ourselves to daydream a little bit more, and I think that's often where the creativity is allowed to come in, because you're not being really controlling about your thoughts. So something like that, like small breaks during the day where you're shutting your brain off, allowing yourself to not feel like you have to be thinking about what's next or what am I supposed to be doing. That's super powerful for me. And I would also say having true weekends off as much as possible. And periodically I will do a little bit of catch up on the weekend, but really having those weekends off and, you know, from a self-care perspective, and doing something fun. So it doesn't need to be crazy, you know, like going rock climbing or whatever. I'm not too far from Lake Hodges. I live not too far from Lake Hodges, and I love the trails. And so I can just go over there, drive over there, go for a 45-minute walk, run, or hike, whatever I feel like doing, and that feels great. You know, so something that one of my past clients, I was just catching up with her the other day. She's a wellness coach, and she recommended having a go-to self-care list, things that help you feel that you're taking care of yourself or nurturing yourself.
Music. I love music. So a couple weeks ago we came home from a dinner out and we just turned music on and had a glass of wine, and literally we were dancing. My husband and I were just dancing in the living room.
I love
A
it.
great time. Not a care in the world. So live music is my happy place. For me, the lake, the ocean, the water.
Yeah.
And I learned, so Lake Havasu, we go out all the time. I talk about it. We bought a boat last year with my dad. And what I learned to check out, I used to go to Havasu and I was still on my phone, checking in email and everything. But on a boat, I don't really have service. So
Yeah.
I get a real vacation. I'm like, and I don't even feel guilty. So it's about anyone who has trouble with that, it takes time. It's not going to happen overnight, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Practice and habits.
Yeah. And you know what? One of the things I found that's helped out a lot with self-care for me is having a fun book to read. I love reading business building books, but that doesn't help my brain chill, right? I read 2 pages and I set it down. I'm like, I got to go do something. And, right? And so I just am finishing reading, it's been on my list for a while. I'm just finishing reading Amy Poehler's book, Yes, Please.
Oh.
And so I'll just go out on my patio with a glass of wine and read for like 20 minutes. And I'm laughing, I'm LOLing like on my patio.
I'm going to have to get that book. I need a new book to read this spring and summer, like out in Havasu. That'll be great. Well, these have all been great tips, and I hope that you guys have gotten a nugget or two. You know, maybe everything doesn't apply, but I'm sure there's 1 or 2 nuggets in here that apply. Thank you, ladies, for joining us. And again, if you have any questions, go ahead and drop those in, because we will go back on the event, the live show, and we'll go ahead and answer questions. And I've got one more question for you, Sarah. So this is a new thing, you guys. We're changing up the Facebook script a little bit. So I have one personal question. I'd love to know, what is your favorite dessert? What is your guilty pleasure?
So this is, it's really hard to answer this as just one thing. So, right. So one of my favorite desserts ever, that's been my favorite dessert forever and ever, is a chocolate brownie sundae. So classic. I love a homemade like pecan brownie topped with the best French or best vanilla ice cream I've ever had is at Trader Joe's. Oh. So Trader Joe's French vanilla ice cream on top, then with yummy chocolate syrup and anything else, like maybe some Oreo, like we're going all out. Like this is like a chocolate freak right here.
The deluxe model.
Yes.
I love it. It's the Mercedes-Benz of brownie sundaes.
Yes, and I don't like anything like hard candies or anything on that. Like I think some people will put some Skittles or I don't like anything that's going to get hard and chewy. Yeah. I like it to either be crunch, like a crunch to add into it with the nuts. Like I'm already wanting. Thanks, Mary. Now I want one.
You're welcome. So now Deanna said the Halo Top ice cream or marzipan. Now I have tried the Halo Top ice cream and I like it. It's pretty good. So thank you for answering that question. So you guys, let me just move that over there. I'm playing with a new laptop, trying to get some things set up. So bear with me as we make some adjustments here. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us tonight and sharing everything. And I just want to give my audience just some updates on what's going on. Please don't forget to tune in every Monday. Monday Motivation with Mary is at 7 a.m. on Mondays right here on my Facebook page. And I promise to keep that to 7 minutes or less. It's usually on a productivity or a personal tip to get you motivated for the week. And then my Facebook live show, Bite-Sized Tips for Busy Entrepreneurs. I have Dan Harris and video marketing. We're going to be talking all about video marketing on March 5th, Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And you all know that video marketing is here to stay. They said by the year 2020, 80% of all marketing will be done via video. So we have to embrace video whether we want to or not. And finally, if you guys are ready to turn your LinkedIn profile into a lead magnet, if you're ready to attract clients every night, every day, just for free using LinkedIn, you don't have to pay. The way I teach, you don't have to pay anything on LinkedIn to be attracting your ideal clients or to find speaking gigs. Also, authors, if you already have a business and you're looking for investors, LinkedIn is the platform you want to be on. So if you'd like to schedule a strategy session with me, drop a comment here. You can email me at hello@maryfanebrant.com. And if you are more than like, I'm not quite ready and I need a longer course, well, guess what? I've got my online LinkedIn course for entrepreneurs launching in late April. If you want to sign up, let me know and I'll send you that link. So, Sarah, I'm going to bring you back on there if you just want to say hello or goodbye. And I think you had a freebie for everyone.
Yes. Excuse me. Awesome. I love everything you just shared. That's exciting.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have a vision guide template. So I mentioned the importance of having a vision for your business and, being clear on what is it that you really want to accomplish, contribute, and experience in and through your business. And that really is where you're going to find meaningful goals that matter, and then you'll break those goals down. And so I have a vision guide template that I want to share with you all, and so we're going to drop that link in the comments when we're done here.
I will go and drop that link in, I promise you guys. And then I think you have an event. Let's tell everyone about your big event.
Yay! So Fab Fempreneur Fest is an annual multi-day business conference meets retreat. So this year, Fab Fempreneur Fest is on September 27th and 28th. So it's 2 full days of a few things that we all need as Fab Fempreneurs. And that is time and space to be creative and work on our businesses away from the distractions in day-to-day.
So important.
And combined with really great collaborating and connecting with growth-minded women entrepreneurs who are really serious about growing their business. And the third component is fun. So really having opportunities for fun throughout that process. And so Fab Fempreneur Fest is all about supporting you to do that. And you can learn more about that. And we even have a few sponsorship spots left. We're finalizing those in the next couple of weeks already, this many months out, but that's how it works
fabulous.
With the big events.
It looks like a really fun event because I went onto your website and was checking it out, and it really looks fabulous. And I love that it's about building your business, scaling your business,
yes.
working on your business. It's still local here in San Diego somewhere?
Yeah, so we're going to be having it at the Westin Resort and Spa in Carlsbad, which is a really cool location, great place. I will tell you, food is important. I like to fuel my people well. So I'll be feeding you all day, both days, yes. with some really good food. I just selected the menu the other day.
Oh, nice.
And so if you want to, if everybody wants to check that out and learn more details,
we'll drop the link
website.
if you want to drop that link too, just so it's easy access for everyone. So that is fabulous. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, for taking the time out, because I know we're all busy, and for the freebies. And I'm looking forward to your event in September. And you guys, this has just been so much fun. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Stay fabulous and informed, and come join me for the Monday Motivation and Bite-Sized Tips for Busy Entrepreneurs. Ciao.
Bye.